Good afternoon from Los Angeles and happy Monday. It's Alyssa Corman, Ed Carson here with a look at the stock market today. And on today's show, it's been M&A Monday, 2 deals making headlines today. Plus, we're taking a look at the latest breakout from the software sector. But first, let's break down the action of the major indexes. Continuing to see gains again today. The NASDAQ closing up a little over 1%. The S&P 500 up about 0.5%. The Dow up 0.3%. So even though we did see a 1% gain from the NASDAQ off of intraday highs here and a little bit of resistance.
Yeah, a little resistance. The NASDAQ closed below its 50-day moving average. The S&P 500 did clear that on Friday, and the Dow moved it above it. But it would have been nice to see the NASDAQ move above that. We did get a follow-through day on Friday, which is basically a green light. And now you can start moving back in as you see stocks in buy zones to be buying them. Though, you should still be cautious. It's very much a headline-driven market. And,
right.
And I know, the vertical violation that sort of triggered this correction in early mid-May, that raises some concerns.
Exactly, because our research shows that with those vertical violations, especially the first follow-through day may not always work. So that's something to be cautious about, in addition to some of the risk that it could be presented with, a negative headline.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the vertical violation sort of came in, sort of like just Trump is pulling out the plug and then puts it back in.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I mean, that you don't know. You could very quickly see a reversal or see huge gains depending on what headlines come out.
A little bit of resistance for the NASDAQ at the 50-day line, that red line there. Although, I mean, we've seen quite a streak of gains lately.
Yeah, last Monday we were not looking so good, especially on the NASDAQ. Nice turnaround, and you have to be ready to turn around when the market does.
All right, well, let's break down the M&A action that we are seeing. United Technologies buying or merging with Raytheon, so forging this aerospace and defense giant here. But we did see United Tech reverse lower today. It closed down about 3% in heavy volume. Trump voicing concerns about competition and that weighing on this merger here?
Yeah, that may be part of it. And certainly it was interesting because Raytheon also tried to break out. It did rise, but both of them had cleared flat bases and then pulled back a little disappointing. And there were some other stocks. Northrop Grumman had sort of extended a gain and then went back below a buy point today. So it's just sort of, in that regard. I mean, these are two huge companies. United Technologies is still going to sell off its Otis and its carrier units. That was already planned, and so those spin-offs will happen in early next year. That's the plan. And then there will be this United Tech-Raytheon merger, which I'm sure will go through an array of antitrust reviews around the world, because these are suppliers to huge companies, Boeing, Lockheed, in addition to their own products. So definitely one to watch, because defense has been doing very well. You can understand defense and aerospace has been a pretty strong sector. So, this is going to be hotly watched.
Yes, we will keep our tabs on these stocks to see if maybe they can recover after a downside reversal from United Technologies and Raytheon coming well off of its intraday highs. But let's move forward and talk about Salesforce, which is buying Tableau software for almost $16 billion. So a huge deal in the software space, which we know has been a leading sector this year. And taking a look at Salesforce, the action here, it actually fell today about 5.3% in heavy volume, but it's still holding within a base pattern.
Yeah, I mean, Salesforce had some nice gains last week after earnings. It hadn't been a real leader in the last few weeks, though. Software is doing very well. A number of software names rallied quite strongly, at least in the morning, as Salesforce made this deal, because it's like, wow, maybe more M&A will come in. There was Google bought Looker last week. There's some other M&A heating up, so that was nice. But yeah, Salesforce back below its 50-day line. Yeah, this is the biggest ever deal, so people are going to question the valuation. Pretty fat premium for Tableau.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, speaking of Tableau, those shares skyrocketed today, some 34%. So I mean, if you've been holding Tableau for a while here, it's not like it was recently in a buy zone or anything, but long-term shareholders certainly benefiting through holding this stock today.
Absolutely.
All right, and last but not least, elsewhere in the software space, we want to take a look at Upland Software. The ticker there is UPLD, which broke out of a rare base pattern today, the ascending base. It gained 8%, and that relative strength line hitting a new high. So since we will have to explain this even more, tell our viewers exactly what an ascending base is.
Yes, and please, I hope I get this right, because there are definitely a lot of patterns.
Being tested.
You know, there's 3 pullbacks along the way. You know, usually during market pullbacks as well. The pullbacks can be no more like than 10 to 20%. Each pullback is sort of a higher high and higher low. I mean,
so it kind of looks like a stair step.
Sort of like a stair step, and sort of it just shows you the strength. It's sort of like it doesn't want to go down in these kind of situations. Stock broke out. Mercado Libre again had a little more struggle, but that one also had an ascending base. It can be very powerful in a correction market kind of thing, and then come out of it. Nice action today. Didn't close at the highs. You know, it came down to its 50-day line pretty much every time, which is often something you'll see.
All right. And the buy point there was at 50.74. It closed just within that 5% buy range. Again, the relative strength line hitting a new high. Nice volume today here. And it closed about in the middle of its range for the day, but a pretty good breakout here for
and a lot of other stocks did not close at the middle of their range, and so so there were some other stocks that sort of pulled back well off their intraday highs, you know, at the lower part of their range. So this was relatively strong in that regard.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching today. You can always check out investors.com for all the latest stock market news and analysis. You can also check out our content across social media, from Facebook to Instagram to YouTube to Twitter. Thanks so much for watching today, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow.